A highly anticipated summit between the two presidents of the two largest economies in the world, Chinese President Xi Jinping and U.S. President Joe Biden's meeting in San Francisco in November, was considered the highlight of the year for bilateral ties. China says it was a strategic, historic meeting that has provided stewardship, while the U.S. says the discussion was candid and constructive. The Chinese president received a warm welcome at a special dinner, where he delivered a speech cherishing the China-U.S. friendship.
无论形势如何变化，中美合作共处的历史逻辑不会变，两国人民交流合作的根本愿望不会变，世界人民对中美关系稳定发展的普遍期待不会变。
Among the participants were people in the U.S. who had previous interactions with President Xi, an occasion to reunite with old friends.
I was the governor that hosted Xi Jinping 1985, so we are just honored to be invited to be part of this. We are the two biggest economies in the world, and it's important that we work together, and we are mutually dependent on each other.
The civil-level communications have played a vital role in tightening the people-to-people relationship between China and the United States, despite both countries facing challenges in their ties. The bilateral ties in 2023 were overshadowed by an unexpected weather balloon incident, trade disputes, and U.S. military provocations in Chinese waters. Another loss to both countries, the death of former U.S. Secretary of State Henry Kissinger, the man who paved the way for the normalization of the two countries' diplomatic ties in the 1970s.
Kissinger was an absolutely outstanding diplomat, but he has represented the end of an old era of diplomacy in America, which focused more on pragmatism and realism. That has already ended. When Biden and they say, look, China must surrender to everything in order for us to support you. This is not realistic. This is not pragmatic. This is not supportive of different countries' national sovereignty.
It took months to rebuild the relationship. U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken visited China in June. U.S. Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen visited the following month. And then senior Chinese diplomat Wang Yi visited the U.S. in October. Multiple opportunities were taken by the two sides to exchange views on regional and international issues. The biggest agreement that both sides reached during the year: cooperation on sustainable development.
Maybe 20 or 30 years ago, U.S. was in the lead in many branches of science, but that is not true now. In certain areas of science, I would say material science, some parts of AI, battery manufacturing, I would say China's the leader. And so we can learn from them as well as they can learn from us.
As for seeking other common ground, an expert says the U.S. should stop treating China as an enemy.
We have to change our way of thinking as Americans about China. The main problems that America faces is because its culture, its society, its economy is destroying itself. Blaming China for America's problems is not the solution. Find ways to look at China in a different way to see that perhaps China as a partner can be something great and wonderful.
Bilateral ties in 2023, a pursuit of dialogue rather than conflict. Zhao Yunfei, CGTN, Beijing.